Hey guys, what is up? It's Murphy Opinions here, and today I'm coming at you with a brand new video. And today I'm just going to be going over my ranking of the tracks off Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, from my personal least favorite to favorite. Obviously, this is I think one of the best albums of all time. So the tracks that I think of obviously near the bottom, I don't dislike them at all. I just think they're not as good as the top tracks. So anyway, without further ado, let's get into the ranking of this album. So at the bottom, I've gone for When I'm 64. Again, one of the more well-known tracks off the album. I feel like a lot of sort of more casual music fans probably know this song. But yeah, no, it's definitely not a terrible song. I do have a fond soft spot for it, but I think when you sort of just look at it compared to the rest of the album, to me it isn't quite as strong. And then at number 12, I went for the Sergeant Pepper reprise. Because, well, to be honest, I mean, I was tempted to put this at the bottom, but I think there's more aspects of the song that I prefer to When I'm 64, even though the reprise is only about a minute and a bit. Um, but to be honest, I think the guitar work on it is superb. The energy on it, it's a really great rocking track, and I think it sort of segues into A Day in the Life very well. So that's kind of why I decided to put it above When I'm 64. And number 11, I went for Being for the Benefit of Mr. Kite. Yeah, as I said, like in terms of production standpoint, this is a fantastic song, and it sounds unlike anything else. It's such a unique track. I just think, again, it's one of those ones in comparison to the rest of the album. I think it's just not a song I go back to as often as some of the other tracks. Like I don't really listen to it individually that often. So yeah, that's why I've gone for Being for the Benefit of Mr. Kite at number 11. Number 10, a track that sort of usually people put either sort of put right at the bottom sometimes of their ranking on this album. I see a lot of Beatles fans sort of say the song isn't that good, but I really do enjoy this one. That's at number 10, Good Morning, Good Morning. Yeah, I don't know what it is. There's something about this song I really like. I really like Ringo's drumming work. The guitar solo, which is done by Paul, I believe, is actually really, really strong. One of the best Beatles guitar solos, I think, throughout their career. Yeah, there's something about this song I just really love. I think it's somewhat underrated. Number 9, I've gone for Getting Better. This is a great example of sort of John and Paul's collaborative efforts in terms of songwriting, like a mixture of sort of optimistic and pessimistic sort of lyrics. And I really enjoy this one. Again, it's got a great guitar sound to it that opens the track. The harmonies are great. Yeah, it's one of those ones where when you say, "Oh, Getting Better is the ninth best track on Sergeant Pepper," you're sort of like, no, it's not. But then when you sort of break it down, you're sort of like, "Oh, I suppose it is." But so yeah, I've gone for Getting Better at number 9. At number 8, I've gone for Fixing a Hole. Another one that I thought was going to be higher on my list, but unfortunately, it did just miss out. I love the sound on this, and I think that Paul's vocals are just superb on this. And the guitar riffs are great, and yeah, again, it's one of those ones that it's another very underrated Beatles track. I think it doesn't always get the credit it deserves, but I think it's really, really great actually. And then at number 7, another track that I think is quite underrated actually is Lovely Rita. It's got a sort of strange psychedelic feel to it, and there's some great drumming fills I think done by Ringo here. I think the effect they put on Paul's vocals to sort of have a slightly higher pitch, I believe. Well, I believe it's edited. It's sort of they've done sort of an effect on it to make it sound higher. It sounds awesome, and I just think again there's something about the song that I've always, since for as long as I can remember, as long as I've been listening to Sergeant Pepper, it's just a track that I always really enjoyed. So then at number 6, I've gone for With a Little Help from My Friends. Probably Ringo's best vocal performance on a Beatles track, I think. Again, love the harmonies on this. Just a really fun track, and it's one of those. If it really sort of the way sort of Sergeant Pepper flows into it is really nice. It's kind of like how they're almost one song. I think that's really cool. Yeah, again, just a really simple, a song that's sort of, I guess, not overly complex in terms of its lyrics, but it's still a one that I enjoy a lot. And then we're entering the top five now. So we've got the title track, Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Superb way to open the album, I think, with the sort of, like the sound of a concert starting. The guitar work is just fantastic. Paul's vocals are great. The harmonies are superb. There's some good little fills as well from Ringo. Yeah, and it just really, I think it's the perfect way to open the album in the sense of it. It gets you excited. It gets you sort of. It's very, very catchy, and I think that's a great way to open the album, to be honest, because it gets you hooked instantly. At number 4, I've decided to go for Within You, Without You. This is a track that I think a lot of people, I don't know, it's one of those ones that it's sort of gained more of a more attention over time. It is one of the tracks I think some people don't rate it that highly, but I love it. I think it's a great contribution from George. It's so different as well. Like for example, obviously George put Indian influences on some of the earlier Beatle tracks, mainly Norwegian Wood, and Love You Too. Those are the ones that come to mind. I think those are the only two that up to this point that they'd done. And Norwegian Wood was great. It didn't go too, there weren't too many Indian influences. It was just the occasional sitar riff in between sort of verses and stuff. And then Love You Too was sort of like a more out there Indian style song, which I think is one of the weaker Beatles songs, I think, but it's not terrible. But I think George just nails it perfectly here. It's a great sitar solo. It sounds so unique, and the sort of spiritual lyrics are just, I think, fantastic. Number 3, another very, very well-known track from the album, "Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds." What can I say about this song? A lot that hasn't been said. Like, superb, imaginative lyrics, great psychedelic feel to it. It's an all-time classic. What more can I say? Number 2, I think a lot of people would expect me to put this in number 1. Again, it's been proclaimed as the Beatles' greatest all-time song, and I can definitely see why. It's again so unique, so superb, unlike anything they've ever done before or since, and that's A Day in the Life. Great drumming by Ringo. I think that song gets somewhat underlooked for his drumming work. I mean, to be fair, people I think in the music industry have sort of talked about the great fills that he does on that track. Again, the psychedelic feel that is created there is just superb. The lyrics, even and the transition into the Paul McCartney section of the song, and then how it comes back, the use of the orchestra, the long-lasting note. It's honestly a masterpiece, I think. Number 1, I've gone for "She's Leaving Home." Probably, I'd say, the most underrated Beatles song of all time. I feel like it doesn't really get the attention it deserves in some senses. Heartbreaking story, great lyrics, great vocals from Paul, and John provides some great backing harmonies as well. Beautifully orchestrated. For sure, one of my all-time favourite Beatles songs. It definitely would make my top 10. So thank you guys for watching my ranking of the Sgt. Pepper tracks from worst to best. The next one will be Magical Mystery Tour. If you haven't already, please subscribe, like the video, and once again, thanks for watching, guys.